As you can see, they both, I've done it again. As you can hear, you can't see sound. For the last 3 years or so, the microphone that I've used to make 99% of my YouTube videos has been this, the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. And it is a brilliant little microphone. It's very versatile. You can use it in a number of different ways. You can vlog with it on top of your camera. You can boom it above on a pole, or you could just use it to capture ambient audio. Recently though, I have just picked up the brand new Sony ECM-B10, which has very quickly become one of my favorite microphones I have ever used to make videos with. And I have already made a video on it as well, so if you want to go and check that out, I will link it up there in the corner. I thought, because these are two of my favorite microphones, I will put them head to head and not necessarily look for which is best, but look for which fits certain needs the best. And if there's one that you should maybe pick up over the other one, let's get into it. Very quickly, just before we go any further, if you are new here to this channel, my name is Scott Edwards. I make all sorts of videography, photography, tech related videos. So if they are the sorts of things you are interested in, consider clicking that little subscribe button just down below there and come and be a part of this community. Both of these microphones are incredibly easy to use. The main thing for me is they both power on with the camera power. So when you turn your camera on, the microphones turn on as well. And that is great because there is nothing worse than turning your camera on, hitting record, and then watching it back a little bit later on when you get back to your computer to start editing and realizing you've not recorded any audio because you didn't turn on your microphone. So the fact that these both turn on, it just means you can almost forget about the microphone. The Rode VideoMic Pro Plus does have a rechargeable battery inside, and it does also take 2 normal AA batteries if you really need it to. However, I've had this for I think about 3 years now. I can literally count on one hand, maybe 2, how many times I've charged it. It just never dies. The battery lasts forever. And I don't know if it is also drawing some power from the camera, so it's not relying just on the battery in there, but battery lasts ages. I really rarely charge this at all, and I use it day in, day out. The Sony, on the other hand, it literally has no battery in it at all. It runs entirely off the power from your camera battery. And that again just saves so much time and effort and worrying about capturing audio, because you don't need to worry about it dying of battery, even though you rarely need to worry about that with this. It just takes all of those worries about not being able to capture audio away, and it's one less thing to think about when you are making videos. I am going to score these microphones in this video and give each one a point for each sort of topic, and for ease of use, the early point goes to the Sony, just because you can entirely forget about batteries. Connectivity wise, both of these microphones again are incredibly easy to use. Starting with the Rode, it comes with a 3.5mm jack on the back. So you take your 3.5mm cable, you plug that into the back of the microphone, and then you plug this end into the microphone jack on your camera. That is it. You then set your audio levels inside the camera, and away you go. You are recording great quality audio no matter what you are doing. The Sony, however, like with the battery situation, doesn't even have any cables. It all runs through the hot shoe mount on your camera using the little golden pins on the bottom of the microphone, and then there's some others in the hot shoe mount, and that allows you to capture digital audio straight into your camera without any cables. It just means you don't ever have to think about the microphone, because you set your levels on the back of the microphone rather than inside the camera menu. It does have its slight downsides though, in the fact that this isn't compatible with very many cameras. It's only really the more recent Sony cameras, so the Sony A7C, A7 IV, A7S III, ZV-E10, maybe the A1 and the A9 as well. But the fact that you can just plonk this on top of your camera and almost forget about it, I love that. I love that so much. If you're lucky enough to own one of those Sony cameras that this microphone is compatible with, you will love this microphone. I would highly recommend it. If you don't, unfortunately, it's not going to work. It's not going to work with any other camera. For that reason, I am going to split and give each microphone a point, because they're both very easy to use. Different microphones have different pickup patterns, and what a pickup pattern is is where the microphone is picking the sound up from around it. So the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus, which I'm using right now, has what is called a super cardioid pickup pattern, and that looks a little bit like this, a little bit like an ice cream. So it will pick up sound from everywhere in front of it and just a little bit behind of it, and that can be proven by me talking to it right now. So as you can see, I'm talking directly to the microphone and it sounds nice and clear. However, if I turn it round to face the opposite way, now you're facing the opposite way, it won't be quite as clear, it will be a little bit quieter. If I turn it to the side, you will again not really be able to hear me very clearly. But if I turn it back round to face me and talk directly to it, it will be nice and clear because that's where it's picking up the most sound. So the Sony ECM-B10 has 3 different pickups to choose from, whereas the Rode just has the one super cardioid pickup pattern. The one I'm using right now is the same super cardioid pickup pattern that the Rode has, but it also has a cardioid pickup pattern, and that looks a little bit like this. So it is just picking up sound directly in front of it, and it will pick up even less sound from behind. And you can change that just by flicking the switch on the back of the microphone, which I will do now. So right now it is in the cardioid pickup pattern, and if I spin the mic around, you will now know that it picks up even less sound from behind the microphone. And if I spin it back round, you will be able to hear me nice and clearly again. But there is also one other pickup pattern with this Sony ECM-B10, and that is a 360-degree pickup pattern, or omnidirectional, and that looks a little bit like this. Pretty self-explanatory, but it just means that the sound is being picked up in a 360-degree pattern around the microphone. So if I switch into that pickup pattern now, if I now spin the microphone around, you will be able to hear me clearly no matter where I hold the camera, because it is picking up sound from a 360-degree point of view, meaning no matter where I am talking to, you're going to be able to get a clearer sound from all around the microphone. And that is good for if you're doing an interview with someone, maybe you're pointing the camera at someone else and you still want to be included in the audio as well. Just offers so much more flexibility. I love the fact that the Sony has so many different options to choose from when it comes to selecting pickup patterns. You're always going to have different options to pick up the best audio in any situation. And I think for that reason, I'm going to give the point to the Sony for pickup patterns. Both of these microphones sound great. You're not going to have any trouble with either of them and the sound quality they produce. Rode, for a long time, has been making incredible products. I use a lot of their microphones. This is a Rode microphone as well, in the Rode PodMic. I have the Rode Wireless Go, and they're always reliable and they always sound great. Whereas Sony, again, they are a very big name. You know you're going to get really good quality products when you choose a Sony product. Now, I have used both of these microphones in this video already, and I popped in the corner which microphone was being used, but I will just do a quick sound comparison so you can see the difference, hear the difference. You can't see sound. I will do a quick sound comparison so you can hear the difference side by side between the two. So this is an audio test of the Sony ECM-B10 at about an arm's length away from me, which is about the length you would be vlogging from, for example. It sounds nice and crisp and clear, but how does it sound in comparison to the Rode? And this is the sound test of the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. Again, about an arm's length away, good distance for vlogging with. Again, it should sound nice and crisp and clear. Does it sound any different to the Sony? And now I'm going to move back, and this is a sound test of the Sony ECM-B10, probably about 2 meters away, talking at the same volume. Again, how does it sound? I've not tested it from this distance before. Does it sound okay? How does it sound next to the Rode? And finally, again, about 2 meters in distance away from the camera, but this time using the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. Does it sound any different to the Sony? Does the Sony sound better at this distance? I'm not sure. As you can see, they both, I've just done it again. As you can hear, you can't see sound. As you can hear, they both sound great. I'm going to give a point to each. If you're going to be shooting videos outside, you're going to need a wind muff or a dead cat. And what that is designed to do is reduce the amount of wind noise that your microphone is picking up. Because there is nothing worse, and I mean literally nothing worse, than hearing the sound of wind down a microphone. Now the Sony does come with one of these little wind muffs inside the box. It comes with this when you buy the microphone. So the microphone looks like that, and this is the wind muff it comes with, and it just slides on top like that. The Rode, however, it doesn't come like this, but it doesn't come with the wind muff. This is quite a big wind muff that sits over the top of the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. It comes with a little foam almost windshield. It's not a windshield, but it comes with a foam one that I don't have anymore. I've lost it. I leave this on it all the time. This is sold separately to the microphone. It costs about another 30 quid. So that's something to take into account, because that then turns into an even more expensive setup than this. Anyway, wind test. It's not that windy outside today, so I can't take it outside and test the wind because there's no wind, but I do have a fan. This has been my saving grace this week, because here in England it's been incredibly hot, and houses in England really are not designed to cope with the amount of heat we've had. I'm going to go straight to the highest setting. I'm now going to do a little bit of talking to see if it's still picking me up. This is the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus, by the way. How does it sound? Right, and now we are back on the Sony microphone. So again, I'm going to go straight for the highest setting. Does it sound any different? Again, going to do a little bit of talking just to see if the microphone is picking me up in the wind noise. Hopefully they've both done a decent job. Now when I say extra uses, I mean other ways of using the microphone. The Sony is pretty limiting in how you can use it, because it only works when it is attached to the camera itself with the hot shoe mount on your compatible Sony camera. It won't work in any other way unless those connections on the bottom are touching the connections on your camera. And that makes it slightly limiting, because you can only really use it on the camera. So you can vlog with it, you can interview someone with it, and for that it is perfect. I wouldn't choose anything else. If you have a compatible camera, I would 100% choose this if those are the sorts of videos you're going to be making. The Rode, however, does offer that little bit extra flexibility, because you can take it off the camera. You can use this on a boom pole because it's just using a 3.5mm jack, so you can use a longer cable and mount the microphone away from the cable. Or if you wanted to, you could connect this to a little wireless transmitter. So if you really wanted, you could use it handheld like this. I have seen that done in the past, but there's different ways you can use it, and that just allows for a little bit more flexibility because you can take it away. So because the Rode is a little bit more flexible, I'm going to give a point to extra uses to the Rode VideoMic Pro. So even though the Sony has scored a couple more points than the Rode, I wouldn't necessarily say it's as clear cut as that. Both of these microphones are brilliant in certain situations. If you're going to be vlogging, for example, with a Sony compatible camera, choose this 100%. If you want that little bit extra flexibility, choose this. This might perform a little bit better in really strong winds because it has a bigger wind muff. Things like that. There's things like that to think about. Both of them are very strong choices if you're going to be making YouTube videos. I would highly recommend both of them. I will pop a link to both of them in the description down below as well, so if you want to go and check them out, you can do. Hopefully that has helped you out a lot if you are looking at buying a new microphone to make your YouTube videos with. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Which will you choose? Do you own either of them? Let me know your thoughts. Come and say hello. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. And yeah, I shall see you in the next video. I'll be with you in a second. I've just got my cat down here. If I could show you him right now, I would. But I will. He's just looking at me upside down. Yeah. So that's why I never get videos recorded, because I'm always messing around with cats.